Hello and a very warm welcome to this talk. So what this is about for the next 10-15 minutes, not quite sure, is basically an introduction to strategic innovation, SI. It's about our backgrounds, about what we do, but particularly about the learning from the process of how we've developed our strategy and our core values. Which is quite interesting, at least to us. So hopefully you'll find it too. So if you're part of the team, if you're part of our network, if you're looking to join us, if you're an existing client or a potential future client, or just interested in about how business like ours starts up, the issues facing it, or interested just in innovation and so on, this could well be for you. So let's go for a walk. So this is Birdsmarsh Wood, and it's aptly named because it's full of birds that can be quite noisy, and it's marshy, so we could get interrupted by dogs, kids, all sorts of things, or I might fall in the bog, which would be kind of entertaining. So what's this about? We're going to look at the background to SI, a little bit of our journey to put things into context, how we came up with our strategy and our values, what those are, and what we learned from them. So the first thing to do is just give you a bit of background, but just for the bottom line, probably the key thing to take away from this is one, values are like the most important part of your strategy. Two is you don't define what they are, you discover what they are. And a sort of a 2.1 would be, perhaps in the early days, don't worry too much about it, because really it needs to come from a team. So there's only a few of you, or one or two of you, it's not quite so relevant. So you don't have to worry too much. So, history. We started off in our current form really late 2017. There was essentially three of us plus a network of close consultants and freelancers that we would use, and it felt like an extended team. But really three employees effectively. 2022, there's 7, mostly grown through the COVID times, and probably about 18 to 22 people that we call on for projects that we do. So what sort of projects do we do? What are we doing? Well, we are a innovation consultancy with a technical focus and a passion for sustainability. I think you understand what sustainability is, and we don't understand what technical means. Innovation is a bit more difficult. So the way we like to describe it is really what we do. So the structure of what we tend to do is we tend to take a brief, so it's a load of questions really. We then apply a set of tools to deliver some results, which is generally kind of a what would we do, what would you recommend, which could be a whole bunch of things depending on what the question is. And those questions typically could be something like working with a food manufacturer who needs a more sustainable ingredient for a meat-free burger or something, or it could be working with a government minister in the Middle East, looking at what should their strategy be for their digital economy rollout from 2025 to 2040. So you can imagine that the scope of that is the type of projects that we do all fit within those sort of data points in terms of scope and timescale and horizon and so on. So another way of describing what we do, the way we approach it with those tools and approaches is we call it head in the clouds and feet on the ground. So it's having a creative, inventive, innovative, inverted commas approach, but combined with structure, discipline, research, science and evidence. So it's almost like evidence-based innovation. And what our focus is on, we're trying to focus on is basically three groups of activity of humanity. So we call it feed, move, power. So feed the world, which is about agriculture and FMCG, food system, supply chain, all of that stuff. Second, move the world, which is mobility and transport, automotive, rail industry. And then third, energy, power the world, which is it's obvious. We do things outside of that, but those are our three focuses. But also our primary one probably is the food industry, because we think there's so much that can be done to make the world a better place in the food industry, and that can make big changes very quickly, like out there in the fields. There's things that can be done much quicker than transforming energy, for instance, which still needs to be done for the long term, obviously. So that really then comes back to actually what one of our core principles is that actually we came up with in 2017, which was to make the world a better place one project at a time. And that sounded a little bit twee, but we kept it because it was us, and it remains to be us to this day. Not much of else of what we did then remains, but that does, because that's actually our core ideology, our core purpose is to make the world a better place one project at a time, and working with clients that want to do that as well, and that we can have an influence on, if you like, and also make them more profitable. So that's that's kind of like drifting into the values. Back in 2017, we actually did the mission, vision, values thing, and it was kind of like you had to do it. It's part of getting the website, logo, branding, corporate identity. At that time we were finding clients, even finding a good accountant, working out your financial strategy. Can you afford to take people on? What's your cash flow looking like? All of those sort of short-term things. There's a lot of pressure on that, and it's really about that feast and famine thing, where you're busy, not busy, and always worried about one or the other, being too busy or not being busy enough. So that's the practicalities. And so when you come to mission, vision, values, what I found then, and I still find now, and I'll have to admit this, I probably wouldn't have admitted it too much then. Mission, vision, values. Vision and mission, what's the difference? Our vision is to do that. Well, isn't it all part of the same thing? Values, something that is a bit touchy-feely, airy-fairy, can do in 10 minutes. I think a lot of people, if they're honest, probably think that. What we probably wouldn't admit to ourselves then either was that what our values were we were writing down was probably the values that our clients would want us to write down, rather than what our values were. But there again, there's only two or three of you. I suppose if you're writing it down in your own opinion, that is your values. But in 2022, and there's 7 or 8 of you. Are you just going to impose what those values are, or are you going to discover what they are? And that's what we did. So instead of using sort of the traditional mission, vision, values approach, we use the Collins sort of good to great methodology, if you can call it a methodology, which sort of fits into 2 halves. So one is your core ideology, and the other is your sort of envisioned future. So on the ideology side, you have your core purpose, which we already had, which is to make the world a better place one project at a time. Your core values, which are expressed by you. And then on the other side, you have your BHAG, which is your big, hairy, audacious goal. It's kind of like the headline of the I Have a Dream speech. And then what do they call it? It's the description, sort of vivid description of the future. So this is like this really good description about the sort of future that you want to see, either about the effect that you're having on the world, or what you're known for as a business. So we don't want to go too much into that. We just want to concentrate on the values part. So we've gone through where we're from, 2017, and now we're in 2021 with a team that we couldn't fit in into the office without extra chairs and so on, which was brilliant. It really was. And what we discovered. So what are our values? So we have the acronym CRT, which is care, respect and trust. So the first one, care. What do we care about? Well, first of all, you have to care about and for ourselves. If we don't care for ourselves and our well-being, then how can we care for other people? And of course then we do want to care for other people. We want to care for our colleagues, our families, our clients as individuals, as actual people. We want them to be proud of the work that we do with them, and we want them to get on. We want to have them having successful careers and being known for doing great work with us. We care about our clients' businesses, that they are successful and they do the right thing, and we care about the natural world, that what we do. Really, we always want to obviously make it, whatever we do, to make this world better. So that's the care thing. Respect is number 2, and respect is something actually that's both earned and given. So we want to respect our clients and act as though we respect our clients, but we also need to be respected by our clients, and the only way you get respect is by earning it. Yeah, you don't just, it doesn't come for free. So the way that you earn respect is by acting in a way that is deserving of respect, which is being honest and trustworthy, punctual even, you know, that basically you can be trusted, which is the last value. But on the respect side, you know, we also, it's about respecting each other within the business, and part of that respect is we call this keeping short accounts. Is that if there's anything in the team which is upset about, most times when people are upset about something, it's because someone's accidentally done something without realising it. So getting them to realise it in a caring way is a good way to resolve any issues. And also we have this other thing about blind spots. So short accounts and blind spots. So a lot of people, we can upset people, or we can maybe have a weakness, might be in presentation skills or doing videos or whatever it is. And if somebody points out to us that we've got a blind spot, that maybe there's something we can do better or whatever, then we need to know about it. So it goes two ways. One is to have the trust, the care for ourselves, and the trust in ourselves that we can expose ourselves to criticism, to constructive criticism, but also we can have the confidence to criticise others because they're already ready for that. And that's how we help each other as a team to grow and be better. It's not just all about seeing the same things the same way all the time. In fact, we need to have diversity of opinion and perspective in order to solve a lot of the problems that we're working on. So we can't just have clones. We want to have a united team of people that are very different, that will challenge each other, but do so in a way that's constructive and not argumentative, or, I mean, there's nothing like a bit of an argument every now and again, I suppose, but really, you know what I mean, it's a positive circle. And then what that comes down to then is once you've gone through good, everything's cared for, everybody feels cared for, and respected, then you build trust. So trust is something that builds over time, and I guess that's why clients stay with us, because they trust us. So we're a trusted advisor, we're a trusted innovator, so they trust us to deliver good research when we're on the feet on the ground part, and they trust us to always come up with a solution or a wacky idea or different ways of looking at it, or whatever they're asking us to do in the head of the clouds department. So that's our values, and those are the ones that are us. Yeah, they're from the team, not just from the people that run the company. So that's that. And then on the other side, just to go back to our sort of the rest of the process, we really like the idea of having the world a better place, and what it means is that we want to be known as the go-to consultancy for innovation in sustainability, like the McKinsey of the sustainability world. Effectively, that's what we want to be known for. But we just want to see a world where we work with clients where perhaps we turn devils into angels, which is companies maybe with a bad reputation that actually then come up with a solution to some of the world's biggest problems, where in doing so our littlest children that we have in our company, so we've just had babies, that they're going to grow up in a world which is touched by everything that we do, their parents. And in doing so, we just want everybody, our desire really is for everybody in the world to be able to live a beautiful life in a beautiful world. Part of what we do with big companies and governments is actually going to be able to enable that by influencing and coming up with the ideas to make that happen. And it's so exciting. Who doesn't want to work for a company like that? Yeah, and who doesn't want to? Who would not want that? So that's why it's so important to get your values right, because we can describe what we do through our values. It's so important to us. So thanks ever so much for listening. Remember, those values are the most important thing, and they're something you discover. And yeah, if there's any questions, comments, if you liked it, click like and subscribe, as they say. But hope you enjoyed listening and weren't too disrupted by background noise. Thank you very much.